Entrepreneur's Edge. And if you are wondering, is it time for me to move from this corporate job, whether you love it or not so much? You're like, I'm just really, really called to do something else. Then this is what you want to listen to for the next 10 minutes or so. I'm so excited to have with me today my guest, Angeline. Angeline, welcome to the Entrepreneur's Edge. I love what you are doing. I love your story. And so if you can go ahead and just introduce yourself to the audience of who you are, who you serve, and what you do.
Sure. Hello, everyone. And thank you so much for having me on your podcast show, Raquel. I really, really appreciate it. So, my name is Angeline Constantinou. I am a women's empowerment partner, podcast host, and speaker of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, where I help women break free from limiting beliefs so they can step into their true calling and also reclaim their power.
I
So,
love
my
it.
story, yes, thank you so much. And I started my podcast 6 years ago, 2 months before COVID happened, meaning it was based on a vision and a dream because I was working in corporate America. So, I worked in direct sales, corporate America, for many years, but something was calling me to do something else, meaning the job that I was working was no longer fulfilling me. And there's pros and cons of working in corporate America. I mean, if you are with a good company culture, that's great because you have a great community. But I wanted to build my own dreams and build my own community and serve women who have gone through domestic violence and divorce because I was once that person who I used to be um, married to whom I thought was going to be the love of my life. And this was back in the 80s. And so he ran a successful business, which was direct mail advertising, postcard direct mail advertising. And I worked in his business. I brought in the sales for the company, but then there were signs, meaning signs of there was verbal abuse, there was physical abuse, all those things that were happening. And he tried to destroy my character. And he um, wrote letters to the New York State Police admonishing me and just basically putting me down and told everyone that I was a psychopath, which in fact was the opposite. So I drew a line in the sand. I surrendered. And in May of 2010, I filed for my divorce because I knew that I was worthy. I recognized that, first of all, I could live on my own. And that was my way. And that was a huge turning point for me when I wrote out that check to my attorney for $5,000 to begin divorce proceedings because I didn't have that much money at the time. But I had $5,000 in my bank account. I said, I'm going to write out the check because I knew that I was destined for more. And I knew that God gave me special gifts. So I leaned on God and I started to work on myself, my personal development. Then I started becoming involved in the online space. And I joined at that time a network marketing company that changed my life. And and that was like community for me. And then 1 year later, I was divorced and free and moved to Saratoga Springs, New York. That was 16 years ago. And now, fast forward, I am here in Florida because last year and then I started my podcast. And my podcast I'm in my sixth season. And I can tell you this the podcast has impacted many women globally because domestic violence is a taboo subject that no one wants to talk about, not even law enforcement, because it's taboo. And no one wants to talk about it. Yet, my vision was to bring awareness and to be a voice for other women that they can break the silence and share their real life stories of how they've overcome abuse, physical abuse, narcissistic abuse. I've had many guests on my show who are speakers and authors and coaches, similar to what I'm doing now. And also, um, I just returned from a trip from Orlando. So I took a leap of faith a few months ago. And in addition to my podcast, I decided to join the largest skincare company in the country. And I am very, very grateful for that because before that, I said to myself, I do not want to be in network marketing anymore because I just was at the end of my rope. And that was the time when a very good friend of mine who lives in the Orlando area reached out to me. And she said, "Would you like a free pampering session?" I said, "Sure, why not?" I just said yes. And little did I know it was Mary Kay. And Mary Kay has been around for 63 years. And when I so I joined the company and I am building a team. And I just got promoted recently to star consultant. And, but not only that, it's about this company's, this company has impacted many women. And when I went to career conference in Orlando, that was eye opening. It really lit the fire under me, and I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons, because I um, I met my sales director, and I also was envisioning me being on the stage as a sales director, speaking, empowering women. So I met speakers there who are national sales directors and executive directors, and a lot of them have been with the company for 44 years. And that truly blew me away because it's longevity. And not only that, Mary Kay is very passionate about helping domestic violence victors. I don't call them victims, I call them victors. But she's very, very passionate, and that is the legacy that she built for her company, is to build the legacy and to empower women and to donate millions of dollars to domestic violence shelters. I mean, to me, that put me over the top. So, my thing is, my best advice is not to give up on yourself. When you feel that, you're almost ready to give up, God has a better plan for you. And little did I know, when I moved to Florida, that was the best move I've ever made because I felt stuck. I was feeling stuck last year, and I really didn't know where my business was going. I had reached, you know how it is when you reach your breaking point? That's when the breakthrough, that's when the breakthroughs happen. That's when that's when things started to flow for me. It was last year, and then this year, January, um, and February. I'm just very grateful because I am part of this company, and my goal and what I'm going to do is to build my legacy with Mary Kay and to build my legacy with my coaching business, because I also offer a 9-week coaching signature program that I literally take women by the hand and help them uncover what those limiting beliefs are, because I've been down that road. We limit ourselves. Especially for women who have gone through trauma, they've been beaten down to the ground so much that they don't recognize their self-worth anymore. And they're still emotionally attached to that relationship. So, one of the big takeaways that I came away with at the conference this past weekend is not to limit yourself. Something is keeping you stuck. And um, for me, that was, not, oh no, I'm not going to be in another network marketing company ever again. That's a limiting belief. And we're not conscious of it at the time. So, um, so surround yourself with leaders, surround yourselves with women who will empower and lift you up and push you to the next level. Because if you surround your, because we speak our realities into existence. So if you are hanging around with negative people, that is only going to bring you down, and that is what your reality is going to be. And that is what you're going to attract in your life. You're going to attract negativity. Whereas when you surround yourself with positive, uplifting people, and I have mentors and coaches who make a lot more money than I do, and that's okay because they're making, but I'm learning from them. I'm learning, implementing, and teaching the same thing. So my advice is, what lights you up? What is that fire? Because you have that burning desire inside of you. It just needs to be brought out. So that's where I come in, and I help you uncover those limiting beliefs so that you can live your happiest life ever and also reclaim your power. And I actually one of my clients lives in Australia, and I actually interviewed her on my podcast a few weeks ago, and she discovered her true passion is she has a son who's 15, and her son is autistic. So now she is like totally fired up about helping other moms who have autistic children. So my program helped her uncover what she is truly passionate about.
That's beautiful. You've
Yeah,
touched on so many things I just want to like touch on. The first thing was around the domestic violence, and we had this conversation before we had this here. We had a coffee chat, and how our lives are very similar. We had similar paths, and even though I didn't had a physical abuse when I was growing up, as we talked about before, there was so many women in my family and friends who, yeah, it was like a silent thing. Nobody talked about it,
right,
and so we
exactly,
all learned to be great pretenders. Nobody knew what was going on, but everybody knew what was going on. And so then
exactly.
we see the cycle continue, and seeing how it really impacted the children. And even it impacted how my parents decided to parent my sister and I, of like grooming us, that we are to protect ourselves. Grooming, it's which in retrospect, it sounds like a wise thing, like have your own money, always have a way out, because they saw so many women who stayed in relationships because they were being disempowered. It was chipping away in their identity. And as it chipped away in their identity, then it was really difficult for them to choose to move. And many didn't. They just waited until, their husband couldn't run after them anymore because they got too old, not because they decided to stop.
Exactly.
So it was a lot of that. So I think the work that you do there is so it's so needed, because there's still the silent thing, that because there's so much guilt and shame around that, and also like, how am I going to get out? Where am I going to go? I'm even thinking of a client right now, and go family member going through that, and so we've been like praying for an out, and then like God opened the door for that person to come out. So what you're doing, I love your work there. It is so necessary. It's unfortunately necessary for you to have this space so women can come in. And I love the work that you're doing with the coaching, because since you understand, moving from corporate to, and that's something you and I had in common too. We left corporate to do the thing we're called for. I worked for a really great company, had a great culture, paid me very, very well. So it wasn't like I actually didn't want to go, but it was just like, God's like, time for you to go. And I was just like, oh, I guess time for me to
Right,
go. Uh,
exactly, exactly.
then, so moving that, so for that work that you do with your clients, but also when they've had some, that kind of trauma in their background, is so important. Sometimes people need that kind of coach. It's like, you've been there, done that, and now look at you. So you're like a constant beacon in front of them, like, oh, well, if you got out, I can get out. If I can leave corporate,
Exactly.
you can leave corporate, I can leave corporate. Right. And
Right,
then the network
exactly.
marketing, even like the network marketing, I was a Mary Kay girl too, so that was the first thing I did when I came into business. And we talked about that story. Or a friend of mine, invited me to her spa party, and I just wanted to go because I needed to get out of the house. I was a brand new mom. My child was 6 months at the time.
Right,
And then I
right.
go to the spa party and waiting for my turn. I'm putting them, and then she's like, "You would have made $600 today," and I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah.
So, I love Mary Kay. I have such an affinity for Mary Kay women, because what I found in that world, and even after I came out of that world, women who do Mary Kay, they're always beautiful, they're always smart, they're always super funny, and they always smell good.
Oh yeah.
We're looking for, like, where's my wife? Start hunting the Mary Kay, because
Exactly.
you're gonna get
Helping
women that
women feel
paid,
beautiful.
women. They are. They really are. It's like I loved going to the conference because it's like a sea of
Mhm.
beautiful, great smelling women who were intelligent and funny and, like, hardworking, but also knew how to have a good time.
Oh, they know how to have a good time. Believe me, we went to the Coca-Cola
Yeah,
factory on Friday night. That was a lot of fun. So,
yeah,
and then we had dinner,
yeah,
but they love to party, but it's feeling
yeah.
good about yourself and feeling more confident.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
so many women love Mary Kay. I mean, I love Mary Kay
yeah,
and I love the vision of the company, but not only that, it makes me feel more confident. I mean, I've gotten my
yeah.
confidence and happiness back because of Mary Kay. And now I
Mhm.
get to help other women.
Yeah, it's a really great avenue because I remember,
Mhm.
I mean, that's where I learned how to network with people. I learned, sales a little
Yes,
bit better, but the essence of what I remember and what I bring to even my own membership is this sense of, like, community and bonding. It's like you
that's
really
it.
bond together
Sisterhood.
well. And yeah, it's just like everybody's lifting each other up, and it's a really beautiful community. So if you've been thinking of joining Mary Kay, you really want to speak to Angeline. But before we go, I know that you have something exciting coming up on April 26th. Why don't you go ahead
Yes,
and tell the
yes.
audience?
Speaking of spa party, we are going to pamper you. So I am hosting a 50-day facial party in Stuart, Florida. The location will be determined, and it's going to be on Saturday, April 26th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that's what is tentatively, that's the time that is scheduled. The location will be determined. So, I will have the details later, but I'm really, really super excited about that. And if you live in the Orlando area, I didn't mention this. So my director is having a similar thing, a 50-day facial party at her house on Saturday, March 29th in East Orlando from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you're interested, please send me a message and then we will get you registered for that. And yeah, so that's very exciting. Stewart, I love Stewart. I love this area. I live in Martin County. So I live between Port St. Lucie and Jupiter. So I'm really, really excited to, launch my own facial party because I'm very passionate about, you know, helping women feel more confident and just it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I cannot wait. And also, side note, I am launching my new website on April 6th. So my website, let'sbreakthesilence.com. I recently just got rebranded, so there is going to be new branding, new announcements. I'm also um, I have a PR agency that I just hired recently, and I they are sending out letters for paid speaking events. So there's going to be a separate tab for paid speaking events. I have my speaker page on there. So if you would like me to speak at an event, let me know, and then I will put you in touch with my agency who will take care of the bookings and everything. So I'm very, very happy that God has opened new doors for me. And this is all because I put in the work.
Mhm.
It's, you have to put in the work. that's I worked a lot on myself, and I still do, but like the inner work, this is how you're going to reach your greatest potential, by doing the inner work. Sitting home on a recliner, feeling sorry for yourself, is not going to get you anywhere in life.
Right. And you were talking about, in their environments, and neuroscience says that, right, that we merge with our environment. So being in the right environment, like, yes, get out of the house, go join some kind of membership where you're seeing humans. I mean, like, we love online stuff, and we get to still merge with our environment here, but there's something special about being around physical people. So get out of the house, go be with some
Right,
fun people, some positive people, because
right.
you do merge with your environment. So if you don't like what's happening in your life, start an audit.
That's it.
And I'm
That's
not
it.
one to be like, cut people off because they're not serving you, but you can lessen those interactions. You don't
There
have to
you go.
cut people
There you go.
off, but when you
There you
start
go.
working on yourself, they're either going to level up, or be more accepting, or they'll just see themselves out. You don't even have to cut people off; they'll just leave. But as you are working
Right.
on yourself,
Exactly.
you are the best investment that you're ever going to put in. So you invest in yourself, and in really healing and discovering your gifts. And that's what I loved about Mary Kay, is it allowed me to discover things in myself that I didn't see in myself, that I didn't even realize was in there. And being in those kind of, saying yes to those kinds of opportunities, you don't know if you're being pulled to do something like that, or something else. Say yes, because there's some kind of treasure, some kind of gift in you that you are unaware of, that those spaces are going to pull it out. And so
Exactly.
go on. It's an adventure. Go on the adventure.
Go on the adventure is right. Go on the adventure is right. Absolutely. Life is worth living, so live it.
Yes. And we only get one. So
That's right. We
make the
only
most
get
out
one
of it.
shot at life. Right,
Yes.
exactly. So live it.
Well, you
Yes.
are a lovely guest. Thank you so much for being here on the Entrepreneur's Edge. For all those who are watching, want to connect with Angeline, everything you need to know is going to be in the show notes. And until next time, may God's riches and best be yours. Bye for now.
Bye.